According to the Oxford Dictionary, a refugee is a person who has been forced to leave their country in order to escape war, persecution, or natural disaster. It is a word heavy with history and burdened with debates. Often, this word can be seen in political discussions, headlines, and protest signs held high in the sky. It influences elections and international relations, but it also embodies emotion and loss. The loss of home, stability, and personal identity. For me, this isn't a distant issue. It resonates with me on a deeply personal level. It's about the emotional experience of displacement, the feeling of not quite belonging anywhere. Having spent more than half my life navigating between different cultures, I've come to understand what it means to exist in between, to never fully fit into one place or another. And maybe, in that feeling, we may have more in common with refugees than we realize. My understanding of belonging didn't spark from a single moment, but rather a slow and continuous process of growing awareness of my self-identity. Though born and raised in Korea, I was subjected to Western culture and education from a young age. I have never attended a Korean school, nor have I ever studied under a Korean curriculum. Since kindergarten, I've only been to American schools, or as a lot of Koreans call it, Youngnu, which briefly translates to English kindergarten. Soon, I began to question where I truly belonged. Was I more Korean or Western? I didn't fit into either category, and would often joke with my friends about how we were 영계국어, or being too bad at both English and Korean to be considered fluent speakers. It was our way of expressing ourselves as the odd ones out. Too Western to be considered fully Korean, yet too Korean to be considered fully Western. Sometimes I would start a sentence in one language and switch to another in the middle because I just couldn't find the right words. But this translation wasn't just about language, it was about balancing two worlds at once. However, this struggle for identity wasn't just mine alone. Soon I began noticing it in others. Classmates who had to move countries, friends who felt like strangers in their own homes, but most importantly, those who didn't have a choice. Those whose displacement wasn't a product of choice, but a matter of survival. In them, I saw my own search for belonging, and that, beyond anything, is why this talk matters. Yet, instead of addressing the root causes of displacement, we often react with fear. Most people are underprepared, with the media spreading misinformation. After ISIS carried out terrorist attacks in Paris, a survey conducted by WIC found that over 46% of French residents believe refugees will lead to increased terrorism. While hardships in their homelands are usually unavoidable, the struggles refugees face in their new communities often stem from societal attitudes, something we can change. The reality is that we may one day find ourselves in the very position of those we hesitate to help today. Understanding and accepting refugees isn't just about them, it's about preparing for the world we are inevitably heading towards. When refugees are given the opportunity to work and contribute to society, they will cease to be seen as outsiders or burdens, and will instead become neighbors, colleagues, and friends. If refugees are inevitable, we must prepare for them in ways that benefit us all. The question is, are we willing to embrace this reality?
UNW, Jeju UNESCO Association, and the World Culture Economy newspaper.